as I can see, there is class warfare, and it's a fairly traditional one. It's been going on for many thousands of years. It's the war of the rich against the poor. It seems to me that if you look back over the last, say, 30-odd years in the United States, if you see that legislation that's been coming out of the Congress, whether it's Republican or Democrat, the rulings that are handed down by the Supreme Court, the bias is more freedom for property, less freedom for the individual. And you run that all different kinds through all different environmental, campaign finance. Ralph will take you through the whole list. And the Citizens United is of course a part of that. And with it, the failure of American public education, and with it the loss of the idea of citizenship. Charles Murray talks about the American project. The American project is, in my view, the notion that you hold one's fellow citizens in thoughtful regard, not because they are beautiful or rich or famous, but because they are one's fellow citizens. This is the Tom Paine idea, the idea that the strength of government and the happiness of the governed follows from the freedom of the common people to mutually support one another. And the means of that mutual support, that is to say, the infrastructure on which we base our common enterprise, roads, bridges, schools, hospitals, and so forth, has been systematically let fall into disrepair or has been privatized and taken over for a public interest. The idea that, for example, we have to have a healthcare system which is intended to make a profit rather than to provide a public good is already away from the notion, the Tom Paine notion of democracy, where a democratic society puts a premium on equality, and a capitalist economy does not. I mean, that's just, they're going in different directions. The founders tried to solve that problem with the Constitution. They tried to set up the means by which the citizens of the country can express their liberties. I mean, it's instruments set up for the liberties of the people, not for the ambitions of the state. And that notion of a republic doesn't really last very long, but where very many, it probably doesn't survive the War of 1812, and by the end of the 19th century we have a commercial oligarchy, which is what we have now. And the oligarchy accepts divergence, difference between the rich and the poor. Voltaire, the comfort of the rich depends upon an abundance of the poor. So I think that the failures of our public school system is deliberate on the part of a owning, ruling, and possessing class that is afraid of freedom, is afraid of a truly educated and independent public. And so it's reasons that the textbooks are no good. Anyway, we can get into that later, but that's more or less where I'm coming from. I'm sure it's going on in other parts of the world. It's been going on in other parts of the world for as long as man has been organized into states and nations and societies. It's going on in Athens, what was going on in Rome. The American exception, which is what Charles Murray talks about in his book, The American Project, which is the idea that we would all help one another and that the good was to be found in our society and our community. Americans differ from other people in the world, at least in my opinion, that my observation is that an American on the first meeting, a stranger, thinks that he has met a potential ally and friend. There's an instinctive, emotional, we're in the same boat feeling. I mean, that is the guts, to me, of the American project. And that is what I think we have lost. And that, I think, is what we've lost over the last 30-odd years. And whether we can get it back or not, I don't know.